Today, we're going to make an easy beef ramen. Oh my goodness, look, I have some flanken steak here. We're going to cook it up. It is going to be perfect. I'm using some Shia ramen noodles from Japanese. You know what Shia? It's actually spelled S-H-I-O, mean salt. So it has a little packet in here, and I say this all the time, read the ingredients, because the first two ingredients in this packet are salt. Okay, we're also going to use some lemongrass and some other wonderful things, and we're going to get it going. So hey, I'm Chef Don McMillan. So I've traveled all over the world extensively in Asia, have learned so many wonderful recipes that I'm going to share with you. So you definitely want to stick around to the end of this video because there's so many wonderful tips that are going to come along. So definitely you want to subscribe. We'd love to have you subscribe. Hit the like button. It's so very important to us. And also anything in the comment that you would put down below. Let's share some information. I'd love to get back to you on that. Okay, so as I said earlier, I have some flanken steak. So let me go ahead and turn up my oil. I've got about a tablespoon of oil here in the pot. Let me just be sure the fire is on. And I had, look at what I'm going to season it with. This black garlic seasoning, okay? And we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle some of that on there. Pat it down, get it in there, yes. Flip it over, we'll get the other side. We don't want to miss any of it. Pat down right into here, good. And then we're going to go ahead and place the flanken steak right into the hot oil, and we're just going to let it brown up a little bit. We don't have to overcook it, okay? Just want to get that flavor going in there. All right, so as our flanken steak is cooking up here, we're going to go ahead and get some vegetables ready. So one of the vegetables I want to cook is onion, my favorite vegetable. I'm going to cut it into slices. So to do that, I cut off the flower part, the root part, and cut right through the center, just like that, and peel off the outside 1 or 2 layers of the onion skin. Let's go ahead and remove that. Keep an eye on the steak. We don't want it to burn up on us. So let's go ahead and flip it. Look at that, beautiful. It's going to develop some great flavors in the bottom of the pan too, and that's important when we're cooking because we want to have that flavor profile that's in there. So now there's a little bit of root here. I'm going to cut that out because it's going to hold the onion together and I don't want it to do that. And now I'm going to slice my onion, as you see, just like this, in strips. Look at that. And that's called slicing the onion. So we go ahead and get some onion slices in there. If you have a sharp knife, of course, you'll cut as thin as you like. Okay, let's look at our meat now. Okay, it's ready. So let's just take it out. Beautiful color on there. And let's go ahead and put in the onions and let them cook in that same fat that's in there. The fat that the meat was cooking up in. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good. Get in there every bit. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a little bit of a stir. Mix up the onions very good. And while they're cooking, the caramel is going to come out of the onions. So there'll be a little bit of a brown in there, which is what we're looking for also. And that's going to add flavor because we're actually building up the flavor. You saw how we seasoned the meat, put that in there. And now that seasoning has some of it stuck to the bottom of the pan. And now the onions are cooking up. The caramel's coming out of the onions. And it's just making everything happy in there as well. So while that's cooking up, we're going to go ahead and get ready on our cabbage. So on the cabbage, we don't need a whole lot. So I'm just going to cut it in shreds from here and then add that to the pot as well. So I'm cutting it kind of thin. And I don't want too many long slices in there, so that's probably enough. Look. And let me just give it a little cut in half. Like that, and that's going to go into the pot in just a minute. I love the smell of onions cooking up. My friend, Justin Wilson, he said one time, to make somebody mad at you, cook some onions and bacon invite them over to your house and don't give them any. It says it works every time. And that's what we're going to do. But we're going to give you lots because you're going to cook this up and you're going to want to eat every bite. And look at the onions now. They're just cooking up so beautifully. You get a towel here. I just want to tilt it a little bit towards the camera so you can see like that. And see how they're browning up? That's what we're looking at. We call that flavor, all right? Such an important ingredient. So now I am going to add in my cabbage and let them get happy in there with the onions. So before we even cook the noodles, we are cooking our vegetables. We are incorporating them into the dish. Let's get this one stuck together. We don't want that to happen. Good. All right, and we have just enough oil for that because the cabbage has a lot of water in it. And as it's cooking, the water is going to become extracted out. And we'll just need to cook that just for a mite. And then we're going to add in our stock and our flavoring packets as well. So we use that black garlic seasoning. So that's going to give us the garlic flavor that we look for, that umami kind of a taste. And that's always so important when you do that. All right, cabbage is almost ready. So now we'll add in our stock. And then we're going to stir in that. And here's our packets. So in there they go. I like to use scissors. It's so hard to pull them at the tear mark. But we'll put in our seasoning packets right now. There's some sesame seeds in there, which always are flavorful. And here is our other seasoning packet. And let's stir that in. This is going to be so good. So we're going to let this come to just a slight simmer, and then we'll add in our noodles. So look at this, a little more secret ingredient I've got for you. This is a lemongrass paste. You could get fresh lemongrass if you want and grind it up into a paste, but this is so ready to use. I'm just going to put a little bit in there, maybe a teaspoon, okay? Just a little bit to kick up that flavor. Stir that in, and now we're going to put in our noodles and let them cook. It's about 3 minutes, so I'm kind of timing everything to come together at the same time, right? Turn the heat down a notch, and we'll let our noodles cook up. I mean, we all grew up on ramen, right? But what's not to like when we can start adding some great ingredients, kick it up a notch, add some different flavors. I'm telling you, it's going to be so good. Okay, it is ready. So now is the time to plate it up. We got plenty of good broth. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. It looks so good. And we know it's going to taste so good. So let's go ahead and grab this bowl. Remember, it's very hot, okay? Going to place that right into our serving bowl. Yes, get it all in there. Get in there. Get in there. Ah. Yeah, we did a good job. Okay, let's get this down here. And now, let's go ahead and plate up our food. So we have here some Enoki mushrooms. Let's go ahead and set them in there right onto the side. Look. Doesn't that look good? Okay, but we got more. Let's put this is our beef. Look at that beef. Perfectly cooked. It's not overcooked. Nice and brown all the way around. Look at that. Let's set that right into there. Okay. And this is the type of meat that if you overcook it, it gets really tough. Or if you undercook it, of course, you don't want to do that. But you do want to have it just perfectly brown and seasoned. Look at this. This is our ramen egg. Now, you got to check out our video because I've showed you how to do this. It takes 24 hours, but it's worth it. Now, we're going to cut it right down through the center using a sharp knife, of course. And look, it's nice and soft in the center. One there and one here. Okay, let's take some seaweed. So I have my nori sheet that I cut up, and we're going to place the little nori sheet right in there on the side. And then of course I have some scallions, some green onions. Let's give them a good sprinkle. And look at this. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but it's called Japanese multi-purpose seasoning. It has kale and so many other wonderful things in there. We're just going to give it a little bit of sprinkle, a little wake up the flavor here. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Oh my God, so good. So this is Chef Don's easy beef ramen, okay? With some great noodles, great flavors, so much going on in here. Please hit that like button. Definitely want to subscribe. You know, we want to hear from you. Put your comments below. And remember to support us on Patreon because we've got so much to share. On Patreon, we're going to give you exclusive content. We're going to give you behind the scenes action. We're going to give you early access, and we're going to do all of that with no ads. So whenever you're cooking with Chef Don, you know it's going to be absolutely simple and delicious.